Okay, shoulder cars. So now we're actually talking about the ball and socket of the shoulder itself. So here's how this looks. I'm going to come across my body to start. I'm then elevating my arm up overhead. Then I'm maintaining the position of my torso. I'm starting to turn my palm to face behind me as if I'm reaching the backseat of my car without turning my torso. Now I'm reaching back, and through this reach back, I'm trying to optimize the inward rotation of my arm. So as I'm reaching back, I'm rotating, I'm squeezing out as much internal rotation as I can, and then when my arm reaches the side of my body, my palm should be facing away from me. Okay, so again, I'm coming up and across, the palm is facing upward. I'm turning my palm, I'm reaching behind me as I'm trying to squeeze out some more rotation through my ball and socket joint. I'm reaching back, and I'm reaching back. Remember, we're breathing through this. I don't want to experience any closing angle pain. So as I'm lifting my arm up here, this side of the joint is lengthening, this side of the joint is shortening. If I start to experience discomfort here, which is quite common, what we're going to do is we're going to back off. So here's what a shoulder cars looks like if we're experiencing any closing angle discomfort. So I'm coming here, ooh, I feel some closing angle discomfort. I'm going to back off, and then I'm going to start to move my arm outward like this, and as I reach the side position, I'm going to start to rotate my palm behind me, and I'm going to reach back as I try to rotate my arm inward. Okay? Notice how I'm not letting my shoulder blade go inward. I'm simply rotating as much as I can from the ball and socket joint and keeping the shoulder blade in the position of retraction as I reach back. Sometimes it's actually helpful as you're doing cars to do it wrong. So actually let your shoulder dump forward and then do it without letting your shoulder dump forward to actually gain the awareness of what it feels like to move from the actual ball and socket of the glenohumeral joint, or this ball and socket joint. Okay, so that is shoulder cars, specifically that ball and socket of the shoulder. One last tidbit here is something that's important to note is the actual shoulder blade rotates upward, and this isn't something that we consciously control. It's just a natural rhythm of my arm going up overhead. The shoulder blade should move. So doing scapular cars before doing shoulder cars is actually a really good way to optimize the available range of motion that I have through my shoulder joint. Okay, so from experience, a lot of people have trouble with shoulder cars. So here is a detour of shoulder cars if you're having a lot of issues with shoulder cars, or if it's just not comfortable for you. Okay, so one way to actually improve the health of the ball and socket joint of the shoulder without actually going through this large range of motion is actually just focusing on that rotational piece of the ball and socket. So there's a few ways to do this. I think the easiest way to visualize this is to create a thumb, have your arm in a modest range of motion, okay? And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to optimize the rotation of my arm without letting my shoulder blade go along for the ride. So I'm really trying to dissociate that ball from the socket. So essentially we're trying to do this, right? We're just trying to rotate so that we can optimize the nutrients between the two joint surfaces. Okay, you can do this in any range of motion, really. If it's really provocative up here, we can go down here and we can take the entire arm and go through rotation. I want you to be able to visualize that. This bone is just doing this. It's rotating along the long axis of the arm, okay? Another way to do it is to think of your arm as a crowbar. So now I'm actually going to bend my elbow, okay? And I'm actually going to take my shoulder through full rotational range of motion. Remember, available range of motion. I'm not trying to fight anything here. This is actually a very common exercise prescribed in rehabilitation for rotator cuff exercises, but we're not trying to strengthen the rotator cuff here. We're just trying to optimize the motion within the ball on the socket, okay? So those are a couple variations of shoulder cars if you're having trouble with the large range of motion.